Alright, let's keep the life and suffering of Sir Brante rolling. With the last night. Tomorrow you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tibor's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna now. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck at the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge of and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the Blue Book, and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then, Mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stephen, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of the nobleman of her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stephen, and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Angelo. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There's no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you'll tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home, before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room, where Mother used to read you fairy tales. The library, where Gloria used to spend all her time. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard, where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You live here for 16 years. Well, it is home, is it not? Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms, but you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan, it will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend the last few hours at home with? Okay, let's see. What I have going for me is I have good relations with my mother, my father, and my sister. Not so much with Nathan, but Nathan only offers willpower. These other two choices come with stats, either nobility, spirituality, or ingenuity. I'm kind of thinking, if I want to go the path of the nobleman, it may be best to get some nobility up. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I should spend some time with Father. You decide to peek into Father's study. You find Father in his study reading a book. He has been like this for as long as you can remember. Always at his massive desk, surrounded by books and papers and letters, reading or writing. You enter the study. Father looks up from his book and gives you an inquisitive glance. You want to spend the night with him before you leave. Maybe he can tell you some stories about Eterna and his own studies, or give you some fatherly advice. Father smirks at that, as though he is plotting something. Have a seat, son. He reaches into a drawer and produces a decanter filled with rich golden liquid. Barley whiskey, a nobleman's drink. I think it would be good for you to try it. Father pulls out 2 glasses and pours a little of the liquid into each of them. You take your glass and bring it to your mouth. The whiskey stings your lips and palate. Father clearly savors the drink. Father tells you a long story about his studies at the Imperial College. He had to study among the sons of the richest nobles from all corners of the land. He was but a commoner back then, and he had his fair share of hardships. When you ask him about living in the capital, he says it was difficult, dangerous, and full of temptation. You will have your share of time in high society as well. I hope the company of nobles won't lead you astray, son. You didn't go to a boarding school like your elder brother, but I believe a good education and a good family still stand for something. Now, what else can I tell you before you leave? Father recalls the balls held in the capital when he was a youth. He even stands up from the desk and shows you a couple of moves. Their dancing was incredibly modest, all bows and sidesteps, no touching between the dance partners. But then again, he chuckles, those were the days when a fair lady could steal your heart with a single glance. You nod. If anything, you know that feeling by now. Do I? After he mentioned dancing, he starts speaking of something he has never mentioned to you before. Stephen's late mother and his first wife, Amalia Elborn. You listen to his every word, surprised by their show of trust. Oh, Amalia Elborn was the noble bird of prey of Anazote, and the ballrooms were her hunting ground. Everyone thought they could tame her. Your grandfather saw her just once, and then it was off to Baron Elborn to negotiate the marriage. I was impressed by her, and I was so proud of myself. And yet, I expected Amalia to be reborn after childbirth, but it did not happen. And when I recall it now, after so many years, I see that the gods arranged it this way. Otherwise, I would have never started a family with your mother. Oh, how much I have to suffer for marrying Lydia, but she alone is the true heart of our family. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip. Before he leaves for his bedroom, Father embraces you tightly. I'm so proud you're an adult now, son. You are capable of achieving so much. Always remember that. You get into bed, your head spinning slightly. This midnight talk with Father, was it about your future or his past? Regardless, it will remain in your memories for the years to come. Okay, now we have a maxed relation with Father. We have 6 on nobility. And with that, I'll hit continue. Departure from home. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Alright, moving out. The end of adolescence. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at the parents' house and recall your childhood spent there. In the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anazote. You clashed with a greater world around you and survived. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed firsthand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is now yours forever. Yours now forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace, lit by the flickering light of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things, how to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. And now Thomas is walking in the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you, it is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? You survived your first clashes with the greater world around you and felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and by the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned from its tales. You witnessed firsthand the events that will be remembered by history for all time. It is time now for you to leave your family home. Okay. Before I get to looking at that, let's look at this for a moment. Archduke Milanatus, Patriarch Cassius. Don't don't know either of them. But we have our powers, -3, church, -3, wealth and Margaret, affluence, and order 6, discontent. Here's the map. I think I've gone over this before, but here's where Anazote is, and we're headed up to Eterna, the capital. Relations. There's Thomas, our friend, Mac's relation. Sophia, who doesn't like us too much, but she's indifferent. Elborn. Octavia. Jeanne. And Dorius Otten. There's our family. There we are. Interesting. Oh, I've just gone to the next one, which is good. So we finished with a 6 in nobility, a 5 in ingenuity, spirituality only a 2, and willpower at 15. No deaths. Choice of path is our occupation. Destiny. Pretty sure we've gone through all these chapters, so this doesn't really come into play. Maybe we missed Nathan's admonition, but we got the other 3, so that's pretty good. I guess that's how they get you. You play more to go through the different paths, right? So yeah, pretty good. Let's continue. And we are officially a youth at age 16.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the Empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
Okay, thank you for that. Chapter 3, Youth. Leaving home. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stephen. It is a city that surpasses Anazote enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there? And where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anazote. Somewhere within them, in the old fortress, you and Thomas built together out of old wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned. Or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can see its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. But they are behind you now, in Anazote. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you, many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society. Well, I hope to avoid the low-born path. Okay, new personal qualities. These are your personal qualities in adulthood, which you will use for the rest of your life. They are some of qualities that you have gained in childhood and adolescence. For most skill checks, you will need a value between 20 and 16. 17 to 19 are required for rare and exceptional, especially difficult choices. The maximum value of 20 only gives you a chance for one extraordinary deed. Okay, so perception and nobility gives us an 11 in diplomacy, which is promising, not bad. Perception and ingenuity leads to manipulation. Perception and spirituality is theology. We are a neophyte. That's pretty low. Determination and nobility gives us an 8, which means we are weak in battle. It's kind of low. Determination and ingenuity gives us a 7, which is inexperienced in scheming. And determination and spirituality means we have an eloquence of 4, which is by far our lowest, and we are tongue-tied. Okay, hope we don't have to give any speeches then. or talk on mic for YouTube videos. Yeah, it might be a little just like real life. You left your hometown to study in the Imperial capital. What life awaits you in Eterna? What will you study, and where will you go? When push comes to shove, which road will you take? Your youth awaits, and the years to come will determine the nature of your destiny and your place in society. So, we can go lotless, which I would like to avoid. Avoid, please. The priest, which I don't know if we're going to have much of a chance with our low stats. Or the path of the nobleman, which, if I'm reading this correctly, we already have with our diplomacy. Or we can have a true death. Boy, that doesn't seem very good. Here are the potential events. There's a lot of potential. Well, there's some. And here are our stats again. And with that, I'll go ahead and hit continue. $11.34. Arrival in the capital. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. Wow, a whole month. It's a long time. You and Thomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. Isn't that Skyrim? I don't think so, but during one of your many stays at the roadside inn, the two of you even managed to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Oh, if you only knew. Soon, I'll tell you, soon we'll be there, and I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy. You'll see, and then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you are almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Arknia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Regalata and the Taurina River, the city is vast. Three majestic stone bridges keep the three shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the main city streets. Gilded moldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with a marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Arknian coats of arms, and abundant merchants' tents filled the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Thomas is to apply at the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitted clothing decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chasing a dog in the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains, and the smell of baked bread in garbage drains. Lovely. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streets come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You hear a fountain. You see young noblemen gathered by a fountain, taking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and two of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open. The worshippers are flocking in. They are too many people for an ordinary service. There must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say about the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colors of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry, jolly, loud fun, doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. So, meet the nobles. Listen to the Arkwright speech. Visit the great temple of the twins. Or run after the students. So, looking at my stats, I feel like eloquence should be bumped. And I think our willpower is okay, so I'm kind of interested in getting this manipulation up a little too. So why don't we listen to the Arkwright speech? You decide to listen to the speech of the rights of commoners. You enter the establishment and find a seat next to a group of well-dressed young men and women. Soon the hall fills with people, packed wall to wall. A richly dressed elderly man with a tenacious gaze and a wrinkled forehead appears before the audience. My name is Gert Arkwright, and I'm an industrialist from Illyria. I should start off with a few short words about myself. Just like you, I was born in the common estate. My father was a hard-working miner. The mine broke his back, and he died of natural causes. My mother used to say that was his lot. You work, you endure, and you suffer. Well, now I'm the owner of 5 ore processing factories. And every day gets me thinking, how come a son of a run-of-the-mill miner and a wealthy industrialist have to live by the same lot? Tell me this, now. It is just and fair that a man who owns a factory has the same meager rights as an ordinary farmer? If you own several stores and command the workers almost like a noble commands an army, must you really suffer like a low-born man? Even if you can afford good clothing, good food, and a good house like a nobleman, even if you live and stand closer to the nobles and farmers and tinkers and manservants. His introduction sparks a debate. Most of the people in the hall side with Arkwright. They say that well-to-do people need to not live by the commoner's lot. There are outcries defending the holy function of the lots, but they are quickly snuffed without support. For the first time in your life, you see people daring to defy their lot in public. Emotions soon begin to run high. More and more people shout words of opposition to the current order of the Empire. They argue that industrialists, merchants, and other well-off people are no worse than the nobles and ought to have their say in their own rights. Maybe they're right. Order, my good people, order. Now is not the time to rebel. If any of you are itching for weapons, you should leave our company and proceed to the gallows on your own. We are here to work out through peaceful debate a solution for the gross injustice, and then submit our solution to the great Imperial Council. The gathering ends in the small hours of the night. The majority come to an agreement. Their idea of the best solution is to introduce a new social class, a separate estate that would bear some of the nobles' rights and freedoms. Unfortunately, there are too few of us to ever convince the Great Council, to have our proposal seen. But we will not stop until we prove to the nobles and the Emperor that we are a rabble no longer. You make your way back to the lodging room. You are absolutely shocked. There are so many people in the capital who openly defy the lots. How different they are from the listless, lethargic people of Anisote. You think of Gloria before you drift off to sleep. She would have been overjoyed to present at the gathering like this. I bet she would have. Okay. First night done. You arrived in Eterna, the ancient capital of the blessed Arcanian Empire. Luke's sermon. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at the iconic painting on a small pedestal depicting a gray-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face, the face of the late Patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with the coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Arcania. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago, we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Isateus, for nothing but the words of man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path to the gods, to their own hearts instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answers to the lives of the twins in their own hearts rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis, we were able to see the truth. Throughout his death, we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth, that used to be obscured by Isateus' lies. And now I bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Who is Junius Diamant? Yes, Junius Diamant, an Arcanian from the Great Dynasty and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this, we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins. Not for the lots they were given, as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of the prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Dynamont joining the new faith is stunning. If an Arcanian from a great dynasty has sided with Photis' doctrine and agreed to it to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black, with glinting silver on their sides. Inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rides before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. Excuse me? Father Ulrich. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my rights as Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path to light is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily. We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Archnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots. Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who choose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it in smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man, of age, with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words, despite yourself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust. But I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see that there light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? You feel no malice in the words of Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from the error and set you on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is just in the wrong. So, we can listen to his counsel, debate him, or resist him. My eloquence is so low, I'm not even sure if it's worth attempting it at all. So why don't we try and listen to get theology up a little. You accept the Inquisitor's counsel. At the crossroads in your life as in an unfamiliar city, you honestly need advice. You lower your gaze and ask Father Jeremiah to show you the way and guide you from error and doubt. The Inquisitor smiles and takes your hand. I don't know if I like that. Let go of me. My son, all of us may sometimes stray from the path predetermined by the twins. You are well dressed, yet I presume you are of the common estate, are you not? You nod, and Father Jeremiah sighs. In these difficult times, people of your estates are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, my son, your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable. So is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the hearts of all people, to bring the words of the twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspect of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. Arrest or execution is our last resort. Reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you orders. You are following your lot by hearing my counsel with humility. With this in mind, consider the following. Did the Patriarch speak the truth? You consider this question. Your fascination with Patriarch Luke's speech has vanished. Was it the sermon or a temptation? The Patriarch of Archnia made you doubt your faith in the lot. He made you seek darkness and doubt. But all this time your lot has remained the same as the one you were born with. You fold your hands in prayer and thank the Inquisitor for his counsel. The light of the twins will keep you on their path, and not even a Patriarch will ever be able to intervene. Only a new sacrament, and not your will, can change your lot, you explain. And only the Imperial College can lead you to a second sacrament. Your voice starts shaking as you say this. Father Jeremiah notices. This is not the only way, my son. You can always come to the Divine Seminary and become a priest. If you come to the seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there, and I am always happy to see students of considerable talent. Your connection to the twins is strong indeed. Only people such as you have it in them to guide and care for others. The work of the priest is no less important than the work of a judge. You bid farewell to Father Jeremiah. While you were talking, the world around you just seemed to vanish. It was just you, him, and the words of the twins. The square is calm now. The Inquisitors are providing counsel to those who remain. Patriarch Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. You walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. Your family sent you to earn a noble title, but you have an opportunity to become a priest of the old faith or the new. If you see your destiny in service to the gods, no one has the right to stand in your way. I don't want to be a priest, I want to be a nobleman. Okay, 1134 Fall, the advance of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon has converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons. With Luke's blessing, this has led to no small amount of anger amongst the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Arknia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Arknia, his every sermon added to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant. Hailing from a great Arknian dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of Astinia province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Astinian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. The schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photis, it grows stronger by the day. Okay, I see the schism. It's getting bigger, and our order is going down. So, with that, I think I'll go ahead and call it here. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. More to come. I love you. Not really.